and I don't want to talk to him. And I don't want his name to be mentioned.
In academics, there is a
He's not academic. He is nothing.
In academic world, we do not do ad hominem arguments. We do not debate the man. We debate the matter.
The matter is debated already and it's closed. It is debated closed. It's closed in Chicago by all Australians, by everyone.
Then how you don't want to hear anything like that?
Exactly. I don't want to hear it.
Shame on you.
No, please don't say this to me.
It is true. Because
Don't say this word to me. It's a shame on you, not on me.
to have an open discussion about all matters.
Don't talk to me. Please, go away from me. Shame on you. Why do you say shame on me?
Because
Why?
we should be able to openly discuss.
I don't want this man did bad things. I don't want to hear his name.
This man.
And I am going to call. I'm going to let this man know to enter this country because he's a cop. It's not my own business.
Really, we should be able to have.
Please, I don't want to talk to you. Please, leave me
Just
alone.
talk.
So basically, you're saying,
Why someone talk about a killing of someone else? Why? Why is talking about a killing that has been closed? Why have to open the theory again?
The theory
Why?
is not closed.
It is closed.
No, it's not.
Everywhere. And I don't know why you talk about it. It's not, it's his fucking game. Why do you talk about it?
It's
You
not.
have to present your own theory, not to present the
It
theory.
is not closed, sir.
Okay, I closed it.
And I am
all
presenting-
academic world closed it.
I am presenting my own
Okay,
theory.
I'm not going to attend this.
I have
I'm
written
going to
yours
give
with
my
Mr.
talk.
Bobby.
I'm not going to attend this.
Even before a word is exchanged, one image, and Mr. Hawass leaves the room. Shame. I'm here. I'm willing to debate. I do believe this is a great shame for Egyptology.
well, what do you, that's not what I'm talking about, the law.
Well, I'm sorry, Laval is central to the alternative argument.
Yeah.
We cannot have a discussion without Laval.
Thank you for your presentation. As one of the world's leading experts on Egypt, do you have a position, or are you going to present a position on what impact, if any, the excavations of Göbekli Tepe has had on your understanding of Göbekli Tepe? What impact those excavations have on your understanding of Egypt's history?
Who did the excavation again?
Göbekli Tepe? Yes, the
What something is happening in Turkey? Your question about something in Egypt or Turkey?
the impact of the excavations that are going on in Turkey vis-a-vis Egypt's history. In
What
terms
has been found in Turkey are Egyptian stuff.
No, just as a leading expert on what Egypt's history is, what is the impact of these incredible excavations in Turkey have to do?
I don't know.
Well, maybe Graham could explain a bit and then you could comment. Is that possible?
Sure.
Yeah, if Dr. Hawass has read my talk, he will have seen the images and read the presentation that Göbekli Tepe has been excavated by the German Archaeological Institute by Klaus Schmidt. Göbekli Tepe is firmly dated to 9600 BC. It consists of a vast series of gigantic megalithic pillars, more than 70% of which are still underground but revealed by ground penetrating radar. It raises questions over the origin of civilization, since we have not anywhere in the world before found a gigantic megalithic construction dated to 11,600 years ago. And since Turkey is not very far away from here, and since I at least fit in our question mark of the Sphinx, I think it's relevant to consider the recent discovery of a gigantic megalithic site in Turkey dated to 11,600 years ago, I wonder whether we should raise questions over the Sphinx again.
I do think that what has been said is right. It has nothing to do with anything. In my opinion, we know the native history. What has been found in Turkey, I don't think, and I don't know if this is true or not. I have, did you ever hear about it? Make a comment.
The Turkey, Eastern Turkey actually. If you look at the traditional days of ancient Egypt and compare this to Turkey, which dates actually from the late 11th millennium BC through the 10th millennium BC. These are two civilizations worlds apart. And I wouldn't call it a civilization in the case of Göbekli Tepe, because civilization is characterized by several features like high culture, religion, etc. What we know about Göbekli Tepe is that those people living 7,000 years before ancient Egyptian civilizations came into being created these circular, say, temples or sacred places. The monoliths are 3 to 4 meters high. So
No matter, the radar showed anything, because I don't believe in radar. I have been using radar all my work. It never made any sky. It never made any
Well, I'm afraid the radar does show, and you're discrediting the German Archaeological Institute. And Professor Klaus Schmidt, who sadly passed away a few months ago, a very sincere and decent, hard-working man, who has published his findings on which are not in dispute. Göbekli Tepe is 11,600 years old. It is a giant megalithic site. It isn't very far from Egypt. It is a relevant context in my view. At least it should cause us to have some curiosity about some of the sites in Egypt.
if I can take a stand as a person independent on these two respected gentlemen, in my opinion, Göbekli Tepe and Sphinx or Old King of Egypt can't be compared. They are separated by millennia of history. It's different type of architecture. It's different type of culture, my opinion. And of course, we can't expand on this topic as far at this moment, because most of us, most of you, are not familiar with the issues. But take some time in the evening, look it up on Google, and you will see if there are common points, common characteristics in between these two places. And I leave it open to your judgment.
The argument about the Sphinx made by Dr. Mark Lehman some years ago was that the Sphinx couldn't possibly be 12,000 years old because there was no other site, no other megalithic site anywhere in the world which was anywhere in the range of 12,000 years old. When we have a major discovery conducted by a respected archaeological institute in Turkey of a major megalithic site, which is 11,600 years old, I believe it vitiates that argument against an absence of context for the Sphinx, which is also a megalithic monument. By the way, I have no argument with Dr. Hawass over the dating of the pyramids. It's the megalithic sites here at Giza that are of interest to me.
Okay, thank you.
There is a term that, French is my first language, and we say idée de grandeur. It means that somebody has ideas of grandeur, What I mean by this regarding Hawass is that, he began to believe in his own image. It's very sad, but he did, a bit like most dictators and people who develop megalomaniac attitudes. He began to believe in his own image, He began to believe really that he was the face of Egypt, that he was the most famous Egyptologist. I mean, he used this term himself. When there was this U.S. Department investigation against National Geographic and for bribery, if you recall this, 2 years ago.
Oh yeah.
He was interviewed by a various newspaper, and he kept shouting, "I'm the most famous Egyptologist. Nobody can touch me." So
Wow.
he developed this belief in his image, whereas the reality you know, like all dictators realize sooner or later, is that they're only there because of their position. And they have to be very, very careful when the tables turn. You know, when you fall from this pedestal and you become a mere mortal again, you know. And he hasn't accepted this. He hasn't accepted this. I mean, since the revolution, he's behaving as still that I mean, you've seen him what he said, something people forgot. I mean, we're focusing on the insults and the crook, but he said something rather bizarre to say in public. You know, and that I'll quote you verbatim. He said, I'm going to call, and then he stops, and I will keep this man, I will forbid this man to enter Egypt at all. That's what he said. And, you know, he realized that when he said, I'm going to call, he was going to name somebody, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I wonder who, but I have a few ideas. I don't want to name names. But basically what he's saying is, I'm going to call an important person and tell them to stop Robert Bauval entering the country. Forever.
This is incredible, Robert.
You know, so that indicates to me that he is still thinking that he has that kind of power. He did before, by the way.
Yeah,
he
did at one stage.
Oh, yeah. Every minister had that kind of power. But, you know, there you are. I mean, he still feels and acts and behaves like a man. It's a bit like Saddam Hussein, you know, who, even when the whole the whole war was over, he kept believing, deluding himself that he had that kind of power.
That's what the dictators do, Robert. You know, Robert, yeah. We did a TV interview in Stuttgart, and you know, when we were talking about the politics of Egyptology, little did I know, Robert, it's not just it's not like it's a model of politics in Egyptology. It's actually literally politics and Egyptology mixed together, Robert. It really is the two fused.
Yes, you know, this kind of quote-unquote politics, unfortunately, exists in academia. You know, it's once you frequent the academic circles like I've had, you know, and many of my co-authors, by the way, Thomas Brophy, Dr. Robert Schock, who has written a book with me, which will be published next year. He's an academic, although he's of the good kind, you know. But there can be a lot of backstabbing in academia, and becomes very nasty, and you know. But this is very, very in closed doors, if you like.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas there is another side of politics, which, by the way, Egyptologists abhor. I mean, they don't want to go public, you know, in this manner. But Hawass, unfortunately, turned Egyptology into a political thing.
Yeah.
You know, partly because of his image, and partly because he played on the Egyptian media, which they love. I mean, he was the defender of Egyptian culture. He was battling the foreigners who had stolen from Egypt the antiquities. You know, he was confronting all these pseudoscientists. You know, and you know, so they loved it. Of course, adding the word Jew and Zionist appealed to the media, the Arab media. So he was playing on that. So that's politics. That's pure politics in the Arab world, you know. And you know, there was one article I remember in '97 where he went as far, you know, really he went as far as saying that Graham and West and I were for the Zionists, you know, that we were paid by the Zionists to sort of undermine Egyptian culture. Yeah, absolutely insane. So what can you do? I mean. Frankly, let me put a nail to this coffin. I think it's better to ignore him, really. I think it's better to leave him do what he wants to do, and that's it. Frankly, I think I've had my fill with this man.
I'm sure you have, Robert.
I'm ready to forgive his outburst because they don't mean anything to me anymore. I mean, this is